What happens when the person who co-built one of the most dominant UI frameworks in history decides it's no longer sufficient? Cheng Lou didn't write a blog post or open an issue. He built a replacement. That signal alone should stop every front-end engineer in their tracks. Every time your browser needs to know how wide a line of text is, it triggers a reflow. That reflow locks the main thread. At 60 frames per second, you have exactly 16 milliseconds to do everything. A single layout reflow can consume all of it, and complex interfaces trigger hundreds per interaction. We built a generation of clever workarounds: virtual DOM batching, CSS containment, fast DOM, but every single one of them accepts the browser's monopoly on text measurement. Lou decided to revoke that monopoly entirely. The performance gap Lou is reporting is not marginal. Going from 30 milliseconds to 0.05 milliseconds for text measurement, with 0 layout passes versus 500 reflows per interaction, is the kind of number that changes what you can build, not just how fast it runs. When a core operation is 600 times cheaper, entire categories of UI that were previously impossible become trivial. This is the difference between optimizing within a paradigm and escaping it. AI chat interfaces, streaming completions, real-time model output, all of these share a structural problem that most developers never consciously identify. As each token arrives, the layout reflowing to accommodate new text must ask the browser for permission. That permission process was designed for loading a document once. It was never designed for continuous sub-millisecond token streams arriving from a language model. The architectural mismatch between a document renderer and an AI application runtime is not theoretical. It compounds visibly at scale, and users feel it even when they cannot name it. Credentialism is usually lazy reasoning, but context genuinely matters here. Lou co-built React. He ran the complete front-end infrastructure for Midjourney, one of the highest traffic AI applications on the internet. He has more direct exposure to where browser rendering breaks at scale than almost any engineer alive. When someone with that depth of context concludes that the abstraction layer itself is the wrong foundation, not the implementation, not the configuration, but the layer, it is worth treating that conclusion seriously rather than reflexively defending the existing paradigm. The web was designed to display documents: HTML, CSS, the box model, reflow. Every piece of the rendering pipeline was architected around the assumption that content is mostly static, and layout is computed once per load. We have spent 3 decades bending that architecture toward interactive applications, and the industry has been remarkably successful at the bending. But bending has a limit. AI applications are not documents with some interactivity sprinkled in. They are live computational environments with continuously mutating state, and that exposes the original mismatch at a level that patches can no longer absorb. Lou's tool measuring text in pure TypeScript with no DOM, no CSS, and no browser reflow is genuinely early stage. Production adoption requires ecosystem maturity it does not yet have. But the direction the work points toward is worth separating from the current state of the tool. The idea that AI native interfaces may need a rendering foundation built for their actual workload, rather than adapted from a document standard, is an architectural hypothesis that will either prove correct or force the browser itself to evolve to meet it. Either outcome reshapes front-end engineering in the next decade. The broader lesson from Lou's work is not specific to text measurement or React. It is about the habit of questioning foundational assumptions rather than only optimizing within them. Every generation of developers inherits abstractions built for the problems of the previous generation. The engineers who shape the next decade will be the ones who can distinguish between an abstraction that needs tuning and one that needs replacing. For AI native applications running in browsers today, that question is no longer academic. It is arriving in your performance profiler with a 30 millisecond price tag attached.